Hey everyone, welcome to another Bolt City podcast, courtesy of Odyssey. Dave Palais, Josh Palais, and Mario Heron talking about the Chargers' big game coming up against the Tennessee Titans. Of course, still feeling pretty good, guys. 2 days after the Chargers' big win against the Dolphins and being in Southern California, everywhere I go right now, people are talking about that Chargers victory. And it's one of those where it's great to be on the winning side of things, but we pointed this out the other night. This is their first win basically against a playoff team. And when you look at everyone who picked that game ahead of time, just win and loss, not picking with the spread, everybody picked the Dolphins to win that game. Even on this show, the three of us picked the Dolphins to win that game. So moving in a positive direction. We talked about it before, the schedule that remains, that this team can put a run together. We said one of the things ending on Sunday's show was that if the Patriots win, they get the seventh seed if the playoffs started this week. Playoffs don't start this week. The Patriots did win over the Cardinals. So right now the Chargers are still on the outside looking in, but there's still a 79% chance this team is a postseason team.
If you're going to base it off of talent, the Chargers are absolutely a postseason team. You watched the Patriots last night. They're not very good. Kyler Murray goes out of the game with a knee injury, second play of the game. Patriots played against Colt McCoy. Wasn't really much of a matchup there. I think if you were going to pick the Chargers against the Patriots, everybody and their mom, you got to pick the Chargers. Besides from the head coach, you're going with the Chargers from a talent perspective, offense, defense. They have more experience. They have the better quarterback. They just have the far more talent than the Patriots. And like Mario said earlier in the year, the AFC East is going to beat up on each other throughout the season. So you're going to expect the Patriots to drop a couple games here right at the end.
Especially when, what they went by, like close to 12 points yesterday, and they only scored one offensive touchdown. Like, nice job, Matt Patricia, offensive coordinator of the year. I think this game was huge for the Los Angeles Chargers over Miami Dolphins. They gave them that confidence that they can beat and hang with playoff teams in the NFL. I think it gave confidence in the city of LA that, hey, we have like a pretty special team here. Like, they can make a run. Let's get off the Rams bandwagon. They suck. Baker Mayfield isn't going to do anything with them. Let's hop on this Chargers bandwagon. Let's get this going, because this is a team that is capable of a lot. And as we've, kind of saw yesterday, only brighter things are coming. Derwin James day to day could come back for him after just missing this past week. And then now there's rumors of Dave, your favorite player on the team, of Joey Bosa possibly coming back. I'm excited. Are you pumped? Like, he could practice this week.
Okay, look, I'm super excited if Joey Bosa comes back. Does this team need him back? Absolutely. My frustration with Joey Bosa, and I'm telling you, I called this thing. You'll see Joey Bosa if the Chargers have a chance of being in the postseason. If the Chargers were going to fumble it away and not have a chance to basically make the postseason, Bosa wasn't going to come back this year. And I said, we'll decide in mid-December if you're Joey Bosa, is it worth me doing everything I can to get back on the field? And right now he sees what it is. He sees the team as a winning record. He sees what's remaining on that schedule. And so I'm not shocked. Everyone else in the NFL and on the Chargers, I don't question that they're doing everything they can to get back on the field. Bosa, though, I have major question marks, and I felt that way about him for the longest time. That, I'm not saying he's just going through the motions, but it's not everything to him. I hate to say it. When I watch his brother play, his brother looks like it's everything to him. And as a fan, you want those guys to give you everything they have, because as a fan, we don't get a chance to play. There's so many of us, and I'm sure the three of us included, we would love to change places with the guy that plays in the NFL. We would love to be a professional athlete. And to know that, not only is he just cashing checks and doing nothing, you wonder and you question, hey man, are you giving everything you can to this team? And I know it sounds like I'm piling on Bosa, and it's been this way for a long time. When I'm there and I watch Bosa, and I saw it the other night with Mike Williams, and all of us are big Mike Williams fans. Third down is so important in the NFL. There's a reason there's a stat on third down efficiency. Bosa pulls himself out of games all the time on third down. The other day, Mike Williams was out of the game in a crucial third down. I don't know, Amari, if you caught it. Josh and I were watching the game together. And I'm like, what is the deal with the Chargers and third down of playmakers, guys who are important on the field, not being in the game on third down? And so when Bosa pulls himself out of third down and Bosa gets hurt, and to question anybody's injury, I understand it's taboo. You don't do it. But I don't know how much he wants to be back on that field. I think right now you're hearing Bosa's name because the Chargers have a chance of making the postseason.
I'm not going to disagree with you, because I think it's been a pattern throughout his career that he has missed significant time when the team hasn't been as good, and he comes back when it matters most. I would just be happy to have him back in the first place. The Chargers are getting healthy at the right time. Besides J.C. Jackson, there is a chance they could have everyone back by the time they make the playoffs. And I'm very confident the Chargers are going to make the playoffs. The Patriots' remaining schedule is the Raiders, the Bengals, the Dolphins, and the Bills. I don't have every team in front of me, but that might be the hardest remaining schedule in the NFL. I really like what the Chargers have coming. And if Joey Bosa can come back full strength, he's a compliment to Khalil Mack. We've talked about that all season. Mike Williams is a compliment to Keenan Allen. Austin Eckler is a compliment to them too as well. Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa are compliments to each other. If we can get both those guys on the field at the same time, it's going to be a nightmare for any offense that we go against.
I don't think there's anyone more excited for Bosa to come back than Mac. Get a little attention off him to get a little just more one-on-one matchups. That'd be great for him. And that also probably help him get back on track a little bit. We haven't really heard Mac's name the past couple weeks besides honestly just us and me saying he was going to have a big game against the Raiders. You haven't really heard it. Like when you're watching these games, Mac's not really like the guy that's in the face all the time. It's not really like, wow, really watch out for this guy. Like you heard, was it Jordan Phillips last game against us with the
Jalen
Dolphins?
Phillips.
Yeah, I heard that guy's name 10,000 times that night. He was just having such a big day against us. You haven't really heard that with Mac. So I think when you look at that, that's going to be good for Mac to kind of have that back and to have that little bit of freedom right there. That'd be huge for him. And I agree with you, Dave, that, if we don't win Sunday, we don't hear Slater could come back. I don't think we hear Bosa could come back. I don't think we hear that at all. I think it's more of, hey, we're just probably going to pack it in. And then Staley, instead of saying I'm optimistic, it's they're long ways away. Or, there's we found something. The wording's going to change a lot. But since we got that win on Sunday, since it was against a playoff team, boy, does that all change.
So here's the interesting stat on Bosa, and it blew me away because, all of us pay attention to what's going on with the Chargers, just like people who are listening into the Bolt City podcast are all in on this team. And it's important how they do week in and week out. I didn't realize how effective Bosa is with the team on the field when they're going against the run. One of those things I overlooked. I just didn't think it was a big deal. But when you see the numbers are doubled for what the teams are getting against the Chargers when Bosa's on the field against the run for when he's not on the field, it's absolutely amazing. Well, look who you're facing the next two games. You're facing Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor, right? You're facing two teams that like to run the ball, I should say, in the Titans and the Colts. So to have Bosa back as soon as possible would be great if it was this week. I'm not holding my breath. To be honest with you, if he's playing, I'll be absolutely amazed. It would be a pleasant surprise. The Chargers are a better team when Bosa's on the field. As you said, Mario, he makes other guys on the field better, takes some pressure off. What was interesting, I don't even know how much we touched on it on Sunday, if we touched on it at all, but Van Noy looked like the old Van Noy all of a sudden last Sunday. He's been absent the whole year. Like almost looked like when you're watching him, you're going, and this is a one and done. He's going to be the guy you remember playing for the Patriots, and then he had that 1 year with the Chargers, and the Chargers will cut him loose. But boy, he looked like he was rejuvenated playing against a team that he's known for a long time inside his own division against the Dolphins on Sunday Night Football. Man, he looked like a real player out there. I'm with you, though, and I know Josh thinks the same thing. You want Khalil Mack to play like Khalil Mack, and he has disappeared the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, Khalil Mack has disappeared because Joey Bosa hasn't been out there to help him. Nobody's really been out there to help him. The impact that Joey Bosa makes doesn't just impact Khalil Mack. It impacts Derwin James and Drew Tranquill and everybody else in that defense. Him putting pressure on the quarterback hurries everything up for him to cause more turnovers. The impact that these guys have that are out, it can't be spoken about enough. Rashawn Slater not being with the team is a huge impact. If he can come back, maybe we can move Jamar Sailor over to right tackle. That changes everything about the offense as well. If we can get healthy when it matters most in these last 4 games, we can go into the playoffs as the hottest team in the league, which I really think is possible. When you're looking at around the NFL, we've said it all year, the Bengals are playing really good right now. The Chiefs don't look very good. The Bills haven't been a shadow of themselves. And the AFC is pretty wide open. This is a really good time to get healthy and bring everybody back. I'm really excited to see if Rashawn Slater is going to play this week or next week. Joey Bosa has been – Brandon Staley has said over and over again, he's a ways away. He's a ways away. I'm with you, Dave. If he plays this week or even next week, I'd be pretty shocked.
I'd be really shocked if it's next week. I think this week, I'd say no shot. But I think next week, if he plays, I'd be really rattled. I would not see it coming at all. Slater, I'm really pumped about because I think just with how young he is, I think it's very, very likely that if he came back this weekend, I feel like that'd be too soon, but I wouldn't just put it out of the realm just because of how young he is and how eager it seems like he wants to play and how great it would be for Herbert to have an O-line that he can trust. Just from this past weekend, Herbert invaded a career high 5 pressures and completed 13 passes on the run, 2 more than any other player in a game since 2016. And he had that great of a game. He threw for over 300 yards doing all of that. Imagine what he can do when he has a clean pocket and can actually like survey the field. He's not like, what was it like last year with Mahomes where like, oh, if you don't pressure him, he actually doesn't like it more because he loves running around. No, Herbert likes a little cup of tea as he's surveying the field. He's not trying to have someone come be in his face the whole time. So Slayer would be the most exciting thing for me.
Yeah, Slater coming back. Honest to God, I'm surprised, and I guess not surprised at the same time because he's so young. Meaning that, for sure, I know he loves football. Also, we know he's still on that first contract. But, man, when you hear about a ruptured bicep, you're like, there's no way this guy's coming back this year, right? I mean, if they were to tell you he's out for the year, look, it's going to take time. He's a big part of this organization. We want to make sure he's 100% healthy. We're not going to look for him to come back in December. For them to say that not only will he think he'll be back for the postseason, they think he's back this month is great. To go, look, this is really important. And Josh, you pointed out the offensive line. It's a huge boost. I mean, Saylor has stepped up and been better than what we expected. And we all know already that Rashawn Slater is one of the best in the NFL. Absolutely outstanding. Going back, Mario, what you just said about Justin Herbert, it's amazing what one game does, especially on national TV, especially the biggest game of the week, Sunday Night Football. That's the one that gets the highest ratings. If vice versa, if you're Tua, man, did he take a beating. That everything he had done up until that point was completely forgotten. And he is the worst quarterback in the league and this and that. But when you look at Herbert, if you're a Charger fan, all of a sudden Herbert gets the recognition that we all believe that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You got to give him time. You got to give him the tools, meaning Keenan Allen and Mike Williams on the field at the same time. Imagine what he does with a little bit more protection. The whole country fell in love with Justin Herbert on Sunday night. Whether you're a Charger fan or not, you're sitting there watching that game going, number 10 is a stud. That guy is a star. And for people who weren't aware how good he is, he woke up everybody on Sunday.
I think Justin Herbert had the most important weekend of any player in the NFL, not just because he's on Sunday night, but it's because he did go against Tua. I thought Joe Lombardi did a fantastic job of moving him out of the pocket. That's the one thing that I've said has been missing from Justin Herbert's game. He's a sitting duck in that pocket when he already has no time to throw the ball in the first place. If you can move him out, you have protection, like I said, on the bookends, left tackle, right tackle. If you move Saylor over, then it's just a whole new look for our offense. I really like what the Chargers are doing lately in these last few games of giving some different looks. We were saying earlier, this is so predictable, this Chargers offense. Now they're going with a 2 running back set. They're getting Josh Palmer involved as the third receiver. This is a team that people do not want to play. And then when you're talking about Tua, I don't think they did him any favors at the beginning of the game of having him throw the ball 3 times. I'm not a Tua apologist. I am an Alabama fan, but from a football fan, that just didn't make any sense to me. They're ripping off 4 or 5 yards every carry, but yet they're trying to throw the ball into windows that weren't there. I thought the Chargers did a great job from a coaching perspective. I'd like to see some more scoring in the third quarter because you're going to need that if you want to win these games at the end. But from a Justin Herbert scheme perspective, you couldn't really ask for more. They really moved him around and made it difficult for the defense to stop him.
Yeah, I agree. And McDaniels just didn't call a good game. I think that's honestly something that no one's really just said. McDaniels just did not call a great game. Probably should have ran the ball more. 3 straight passes in a row to start the game was probably not the best idea. And it's also great too after this game where I'm not going to say who the people were, but I remember earlier this year I texted you guys. I was just watching TV and someone said they'd take Jimmy G over Herbert. And I would love to see all those people that were said that and had those takes, which have just aged like milk. I'd love to see that come back around. I bet that looks really, really good right now. A lot of the people that were big 2 over Herbert, which I just don't think should be an argument. They're just 2 great quarterbacks. I'm going to pull that card. I sound like an old man saying that one with a Jordan LeBron debate. But I think what you got to do, just appreciate them. People shouldn't be that hard on Tua. People are now are doing the recent bias of oh, Tua's just not very good. He's not at any level. Yeah, he's probably out of the MVP conversation right now in this season, where a week ago he probably was. But he still is a pretty good quarterback, so let's relax with that. But that being said, Herbert tops him. McDaniels gets out coached by Staley, which I never thought I would say. And we're sitting here looking at the playoffs, and right now I'm loving our chances to make the playoffs. And I'm loving the Raiders' chances of not making the playoffs, not even sniffing it. So let's make sure to mention that at the top before we keep going more about the playoffs.
That's an interesting game to watch. You know, the Raiders take on the Patriots this week, right? You know that every one of Belichick's former coaches wants to go against his team and beat them, right? So that's an interesting game to pay attention to. Obviously, we're going to pay attention to the Patriots and hope that they lose. This is 1 week you're rooting for the Raiders right here, even if you're a Charger fan, because you need a little bit of help. But it's that's one of those things in the NFL. The storylines you're paying attention to and going. Not only is it the two coaches that know each other backwards and forwards, but at the same time, the Chargers need the Raiders to win this game against the Raiders to knock off the Patriots, I should say. Josh, I want to go back to one thing you just said about Justin Herbert leaving the pocket. Okay, so Justin Herbert leaves the pocket. He's more effective. You've been calling for it all year. As you said, you don't want to be a sitting duck, which is kind of crazy. The guy actually played for the Ducks. But the rolling out for Justin Herbert, I remember when Philip Rivers played on the Chargers, and Philip Rivers was your basically pocket passer. He wasn't going to get out. He wasn't going to run. If he did it, it was one of those things where the fan base lost their mind because you didn't see it very often. But Philip Rivers used to say when I would interview him about leaving the pocket, he'd go, "Why would I ever leave the pocket? If I go to the right side, that means I now have 22 guys on the right side of the field. I mean, everybody's going with me." And so he would always defend that. If I stay in the middle, that means I have, equal opportunity of using the middle of the field, the left side of the field, and the right side of the field. The thing with Justin Herbert, he has the ability to run. We haven't seen Justin Herbert run much this year because my guess, and I'm sure you guys would agree, because of the major injury he had against the Chiefs in game 2 when he had the broken rib. Now it was a matter of, can we just keep him healthy? Because I think a lot of people wonder, how long was he not healthy? Was it 6 games? Was it 7 games? How long was Justin Herbert not 100%? As these games mean more and more going to not only the end of the season, but also the postseason, would you like to see Justin Herbert run more? Like when the opportunity is there? And before you answer the question, I may age myself. I do it once a show, but I'm going to tell you right now, when Steve McNair was with the Titans, had the ability to run, and they would say, "Hey, we don't want you running," but postseason time, it was everything to the wall. It was like, "Hey, if that's what it takes, then go ahead and take off." And man, the Titans became a better team, a different team, because there was that threat of, not that he's Michael Vick, but man, when you had a guy that could run the ball and throw the ball, it was different. Are the Chargers of the mindset now, look, we need to get in the postseason and we need to do some damage here? Justin, feel free to start running. You see it, take advantage of it.
The quick answer is yes. 100%. I would like him not to be like Josh Allen, where he's throwing his head everywhere and you're worried about like a long-term injury, but you want him to get the first down. I've said that all season, that Justin Herbert, he's hurt, or they don't want him to leave the pocket, like you said, because of his rib injury. Now is the time where you do make those plays. Philip Rivers is my favorite quarterback of all time. I was a huge San Diego Charger fan. But the thing with Philip Rivers was he wouldn't leave the pocket, and he would really be a one-side quarterback where he could only throw the ball. He couldn't run the ball. And when he says you roll out, you have 22 guys on the other side of the field. Philip Rivers did not have the arm strength to throw the ball to the other side of the field. You watch Patrick Mahomes. What's so hard about Patrick Mahomes? You have no idea where the ball's coming from. It's going to go all the way over here, all the way over there. It doesn't matter what side of the field he's on. That's why he's so hard to guard. Justin Herbert has all the same abilities as Patrick Mahomes and more. If you could roll him out, he throw the ball to the left, rolling out right. If you're a defense, there's no way you could stop that. Add on to that Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Josh Palmer. You're not going to be able to stop a quarterback that's moving outside the pocket. There's no way any team wants to play Justin Herbert at full strength. When Justin Herbert's completely healthy, I honest to God, not biased, would take him over any quarterback in the league. That's how good he is.
I think I would definitely like him to do it when that Eckler dump down's taken away. That's like the traditional thing right there. If there's nothing open, Eckler's always in the slot, and he's going to somehow maneuver his way for 6 or 8. If that's taken away, and that's something that I could honestly see just Vrabel doing, just some type of scheme that fits pretty good against the Titans where you take that away. Yeah, Herbert, let's start running, buddy, and let's start sliding as literally someone's as much as an inch to you. Let's slide. I don't want to risk an injury with you and your ribs or whatever. Keep the pretty face pretty. Like let's make sure you get there, get the first, and let's get out of bounds. Don't need to take any extra hits like your Josh Allen or anything like that. I completely agree. Herbert at full strength, he's a top tier quarterback. He's in that number 1 tier that separates him from the other players in the NFL. I'm fine with him running. In the playoffs, you're going to have to. I mean, shoot, who was it this year that we saw run into the end zone and he just got smacked? Who was it? I don't know. Whatever. Throw away that point. Tom Brady last year took some pretty big hits too in the on in the playoffs. You saw this guy who's 40 freaking years old, and Bruce Arians in the press conference going, "Yeah, I'm telling him not to take those hits anymore." yeah, our guy's not 45, so he can take a little band-aids, but at the same time, make sure you're smart about it too in the same way, because Chase Daniel coming in would not be fun.
One thing I'd still like to see this team do is stretch the field, and at least show the threat of stretching it. And even if it's to your guy Mario DeAndre Carter, go ahead, let it loose, and let it loose early. Open things up for yourself down the middle and also underneath. I would like to see them stretch it. One thing the Titans did in their game the other day, the game they lost against Jacksonville. I'm not sure how many of you guys caught it, but they started the game off with. I'll ask you, first play of the game. What would you expect the Titans to do first play of the game?
Run,
right? Hand the ball off to Derrick Henry, right? It's a home game. You're going to establish the run. Derrick Henry ran for 100 yards in the first quarter alone against the Jags. You'd expect them to run. So the very first play of the game, the Titans handed the ball off to Derrick Henry. He runs towards the line. He turns around and he flipped it back to Tannehill, and then he threw it deep. Okay, Tannehill, of course, blew it. But the play call I thought was fantastic. I thought the play call was genius, because if you're Jacksonville and you're preparing against the Titans, what are you doing what every other team's doing? We got to stop number 22. Derrick Henry is the one guy on the team that can hurt us. We're focusing so much all week long about how we're going to stop Derrick Henry. The very first play of the game, the Titans threw a wrinkle in there that I thought was genius. Literally, I'd love to see the Chargers kind of do the same thing. Now, I understand the Chargers aren't the running team that the Titans are, but at the same time, just stretch the field. Justin Herbert has a big-time arm. If the rib injury is better, dude, he can unleash that ball 65 yards. I don't care if you overthrow him by 10 yards. At least let all the defensive backs know there's an opportunity that they're going to go deep. And we've been waiting for this all year long. Time to stretch the defense. Just have that threat to know, guess what? This is in our arsenal. And Justin Herbert with his big arm is dangerous. But they don't do that. They don't do that. Somebody tweeted out on Sunday, and I don't think we brought this up during the show, but they said it looked like the Chargers were calling plays for Tua and the Dolphins were calling plays that you'd call for Herbert. And they were absolutely right. I mean, everything is they go about it like Herbert doesn't have a big arm. He has a great arm. Let's see it go. Let's put some fear into the defensive backs on the other teams, and let's do it starting with Tennessee on Sunday.
Absolutely. You brought up tiers, which I love to talk tier talk with players. Are the Chargers the only team in the NFL that have a tier 1 quarterback and running back? They might be, right? Austin Eckler, dude, he is a tier 1 running back. I don't give a crap. He has 33 touchdowns the last 2 seasons. Absolute tier 1 running back. Justin Herbert, tier 1 quarterback. I think
the Browns might have it now. The Browns might have it now, right? Well, assuming Deshaun Watson turns into Deshaun Watson, but when Nick
maybe in 2023.
You're right. Deshaun Watson looks terrible, but right now, to the teams they face this year, the Chargers are the only team that I can think of like that.
Eagles. If you go recently with how good he's been playing,
the
recently.
Bengals, is that what you just said? The Bengals?
No, Eagles. I want Bengals too.
Oh,
Bengals.
Who's the running back? With Miles Sanders?
Yeah, he's like top 3 in rushing this year.
But I think when you're saying top tier, like you're saying you would draft him in the first round in fantasy football. Is that what you're saying, Josh?
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
Ooh.
I think the closest team would be the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, probably. I agree. Yeah.
Bills don't have that. Dolphins don't have that. So if you have something other teams don't have, why not utilize it? And I know it sounds easy. It's easier said than done, one of those things. But to get Austin Eckler involved in the passing game and the running game with Josh Kelly, by the way, I think looks pretty damn good these last couple games. It's a whole new look for our offense. I have a question for you, Mario. Somebody tweeted this out today. I just want to get your thoughts. Somebody said the one thing the Chargers are missing on offense is a real tight end. Do you agree with that?
Yes. I've been a big component of we ask Everett to do too much. And I'm an Everett fan. I got him on fantasy. I'm a big Everett guy. I like Everett. Yep. Yeah. But I think we're asking him to do too much. And in a league where the tight end is so important now, it's just like, hey, let's not take this guy that's at his best I'm going to go Dawson Knox guy. That's like his peak, right? But we're trying to use him and like move him towards more of a George Kittle. And that's just not who he is. If we had, I think, a number 1 tight end, I think the league would be probably crap itself and be put in a pretty bad position because they'd be a dangerous team. That's exactly what you need. And if you look at the past Super Bowl championships, look at the number 1 team, a lot of people say in the NFL, who's their number 1 guy? It's Travis Kelce. You know,
Yep.
so I do think, and I'm curious what you think on this one too, Dave. That is like, if you go weak spot in the offense, it is sadly I love Jared Everett. You're my guy, but it is the tight end position that needs the biggest improvement.
It's kind of why I brought up to you guys recently about Kyle Pitts, saying you want that guy. I mean, we were spoiled when we had Antonio Gates. You look in the division, when healthy, when all the tight ends in the division are healthy, the Chargers have the third best tight end, correct? Right?
Yeah.
You go Kelsey, you'd go Waller, you'd go Everett, and then Noah Fant. All right. So anyway, you sit there and you go, yeah, we want to get a little bit better. But
hold on, did Noah Fant get traded to the Seahawks? is he? I might be wrong.
Russell Wilson couldn't find him anyway.
That's true.
Come on, he couldn't find him anyway. So my point is, you want to get better at that position. But as Charger fans, we've been spoiled. I mean, we all remember Antonio Gates and how great he was.
Yeah, well, the Chargers have been spoiled with quarterbacks as well. Who goes from Phillip Rivers to Justin Herbert? We're like the Indianapolis Colts. They did the same thing as us. The Chargers the Chargers do ask too much for Gerald Everett. He's a number 2 tight end, just like he was with the LA Rams when he won the Super Bowl. Tyler Higbee was the number 1, even though I would actually take Gerald Everett over Tyler Higbee. But Tyler Higbee was the number 1. Gerald Everett was the number 2. They had a great two tight end set. Teams in the NFL always have good 2 tight end sets that are really good teams. You have Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski. That was the original 2 tight end set that I can remember in modern day football. Teams try to copy each other. The Chargers need something similar. There's a lot of holes though with this Chargers team, and you're talking about the draft next year, potential trades. With that being said, if Kyle Pitts was available and you didn't have to give up too much, maybe a second round pick, I would absolutely do it. I think if you gave Justin Herbert a 2 tight end set, not Trey McKitty over here who doesn't know when to hold and when not to hold. It's ridiculous watching this guy play football. But if you give him 2 real tight ends, I think this Chargers offense is easily the most dynamic in all of football.
Not to mention, in this upcoming draft class, pretty good tight ends coming out. Michael Mayer of Notre Dame, and then you got blanking on his name, but Georgia boy, number 19. What's his name?
Brock Bowers.
Yeah, Brock Bowers.
Is he coming out, or does he have 1 more year left? Dude, I think he's a true sophomore. That guy's a freak.
He's a true sophomore?
He's a true sophomore. He's from California, yeah.
Oh, my God. Just let him go for freak, dude. He's going to murder the rest of the NCAA. But besides that, I mean, Michael Mayer, go snag that guy out of Notre Dame. Let's get some type of young talent, and then he can grow with Herbert. I mean, getting a good little young QB, tight ends connection, going up, getting older together. Not bad. I'll take it. You get to live in LA too. A little shine. You get away from South Bend, which is hell for 11 out of the 12 months of the year. Praise be, but it's not the best place to live. So look at the playoffs. The Chargers do have, the AFC East needs to go away. Pats sit above them. Like you said, we got Raiders, Bengals, Dolphins, Bills left on their schedule. And Bills in that game, in that last spot game, some people are like, oh, they could get, at that point, the Bills are going to rest guys. How badly do you guys think the Bills want home field for the whole playoffs? I imagine you want that pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you want that bye, right? The number 1 seed gets the bye. You want that bye. The bye is like winning a playoff game. So you definitely want that. It's funny when you look at the teams that have a chance of making the postseason and you go, okay, which teams do really well at home? The Chargers aren't one of those teams. It really doesn't matter. I mean, the Chargers aren't going to get a home game to make the postseason. They aren't going to win the division, so they're getting a home game. But at the same time, I don't think it matters for the Chargers. I think they're in rare company with this, where it's not such a big deal that, hey, we have to play at home to guarantee we're going to get a win. I think it's going to come down to talent execution with this team. I mean, this is a team that's been embarrassed at home this year by teams that you win against, and you're going, you got Seattle, you have Jacksonville, you go, these are games that you should have no problem with, and then you don't do extremely well. So I think the Chargers are fine with it. I think the Chargers are fine with winning on the road. And when the Chargers first moved from San Diego to LA, man, that stadium was filled with visiting fans all the time. And it wasn't a big stadium. It was only like 25,000 people. But it was still, loaded up with Steeler fans and Viking fans and Eagles fans, you name it. The other night, you could hear it on Sunday Night Football, it was about 50-50. When the Chargers did something well, you could hear the crowd. When the Dolphins did something well, you could hear the crowd. But the Chargers aren't in that situation where home field advantage is everything. I think, honestly, out of all the teams in the postseason, the Chargers are fine going on the road.
Absolutely. What team would you like to play on the road, and which team would you not?
You're gonna laugh when I say this, dude. I'd love to see the Chargers take on the Chiefs early. I'd like to see them knock off the Chiefs early. And
I agree.
Do you really?
I agree, dude. It's the Rams 49ers from last year. The 49ers beat the Rams twice, then the Rams beat them the third time. I would love to see something like that happen.
Chiefs beat the Chargers twice this year, and it was by 3 points both times.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the first time, the Chargers definitely should have won that game. We know the Chiefs find a way to win. The Chiefs, to me, play it too close. Where if I was a Chiefs fan, I'd go, man, it's great that our team's winning and our record's outstanding. I got it. We're 10-3. Man, those Chiefs games are close. I mean, even the game last week against the Denver Broncos, if you're the Chiefs fan, you're like, we had a huge lead, and Denver's in position to win this game. It's not what you see dominating championship teams do. As much as I've pushed the Niners, I was pushing the Niners before they were on their third quarterback because of all the other talent they had. I didn't think they'd end up going to quarterback number 3. But the Niners are crushing teams. I mean, just crushing them, where you're like, this is the NFL. These scores are like what you see in college games or high school games. The NFL is supposed to be a last possession league. The Niners don't play football like it's a last possession league. The Chiefs, though, man, oh my goodness, with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and all the stars that they have and their history of winning over the last 7 years, the Chiefs, to me, are too scary. If I was a Chiefs fan, I'd be like, God, just can we get a couple blowouts? I think the Chiefs play the Texans this weekend, correct? And so if I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm like, this is your chance to sit there and show what you really are. Now, you don't know. I mean, look at the Cowboys and the Texans last week. The Texans had that game won the entire game until the very end because, bad teams don't know how to close out, don't know how to win. But if I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm like, man, I'd like to see us basically at our peak heading into the postseason. And I haven't seen it. And I kind of wonder, guys, are the Chiefs exactly what they've been showing us all year long? Where they're just going to play it almost right on the line and hopefully things work out. And no, I understand there's something to winning in the end, but how good are the Chiefs? And that's why I say, give me the Chiefs right now. We'll go to KC. We'll deal with their crowd. We'll deal with all that stuff. 3 times, we have a pretty good idea of what they're doing. Guess what? We're better now than we were at any other point because we have Keenan Allen and we have Mike Williams at the same time. If Bosa comes back and Slater comes back, man, it's a different team that Kansas City's not prepared for.
Couldn't agree more. The Kansas City Chiefs don't want to play the Chargers. Nobody wants to play the Chargers. The Kansas City Chiefs have 2 freaking guys. 2 guys. Seriously. You can't tell me Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Juju Smith-Schuster, and these other guys are going to light you up. Why can't we stop Travis? I know it's the hardest thing in the world right now is to stop Travis Kelce, but it's really an offense of 2 guys. We have 5. We have 5. How many All-Pros are on the Chargers this year? Seriously.
Oof.
DeAndre
Carter.
Yeah. You think? Yeah. Well, you think so. We have an All-Pro quarterback, All-Pro running back. We got All-Pro receivers but they've been hurt. From a talent perspective, it's not even close with the Chiefs. The only thing the Chiefs have is miracles on their side. Patrick Mahomes, some way, always pulls out a victory at the end. This is the year that the Chargers take the Chiefs if we play the Chiefs. I'd love to play the Baltimore Ravens. They're the biggest pretenders in the NFL. They are not good at all. The Baltimore Ravens are a team that doesn't want to play anybody right now. I don't think Lamar Jackson is even close to being healthy. So that'd be a team I'd like to play. The only team, like I said earlier, is the Cincinnati Bengals. It's the only team I would not want to play in the AFC right now. The NFC actually looks a lot stronger down the stretch than the AFC.
So I hate to say this, but there's a lot of reasons why the Chargers going against the Chiefs a third time goes great, right? Like it's so hard to beat a team twice, even more impossible to beat them 3 times. They're going to be fully healthy. I said this on last show, but there's not really a lot of film on the Chargers fully healthy as a team. It's just not a lot of film. Not a lot of film what to expect, especially if we get Bosa back. We have Slater. It's a very, very dangerous team. That being said, I would like to stay as far away as I can from Mahomes in the playoffs. I would love to stay away from him. I would love like an Arrowhead when they do the national anthem. I almost said Pledge of Allegiance. When they do national anthem, they do the home of the Chiefs, and it's like literally a vibration in the crowd. I want to stay away from that just because I do think the Chargers can beat the Chiefs. I 100% think so, especially a third time, yes. But I would want to stay away from the unreal, I don't know how that happened moments from Mahomes. I could so see 30 seconds left. Chargers have it. They're celebrating on the sidelines. It's on like Chiefs own 2 plays later, they're in the end zone. Like, I would just want to stay the hell away from that and just be like, keep your annoying voice over there. Patrick from SpongeBob, push them over there. Keep it far away. Like, I don't want to play them. Ravens is a team. Come here. I will book a flight to Baltimore. I'll stay there for a whole week where they shot The Wire. I don't care. Like, I would happily stay in Baltimore, do anything in Baltimore. That's the team I'd want 110%. I don't think they're that good. I think their secondary's not that great. I think they're old. I don't think they're quick. You have one guy on one side of the ball that's negotiating his own contract, and another guy on the other side that's negotiating his own contract. Nice job, genius. That's going to work great for you in the offseason. But give me that. Even give me Buffalo and the snow and Buffalo with Josh Allen. The Bills have that sort of bad luck Chargers have, and I'm like, take my chances, but I'm still want to go. Keep me away from the cousin lovers of Kansas City. Keep me away.
All right, so let me throw a couple teams at you. You guys tell me, all right? Bills, you have to deal with the snow and the cold, okay?
Yeah.
So we all know it's the Josh Allen show if you play Buffalo in the snow. KC, you deal with basically Mahomes and their fan base, the crowd. Ravens, you have Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews, okay? And you have Justin Tucker. End of the game, Justin Tucker's going to make that kick. You have Tennessee, okay? Home field advantage doesn't mean anything to Tennessee. You saw Cincinnati knock them off. You have the Bengals, you have the Dolphins. Out of those teams, even though Miami, Cincinnati, Tennessee are behind the Bills, KC, and Baltimore right now as we do the show, I still rather face I'd rather face almost anybody outside. I don't want to face Miami again, and I don't want to face Cincinnati again. Cincinnati. I like the team's chances against almost every team they face right here. The weather kind of scares me a little bit in Buffalo, and I understand if you have to go through Buffalo, you have to go through Buffalo. But the one thing that the Chargers have that the Bills don't, they have a top running back. Josh, you just said it. I mean, if it's going to come down to Austin Eckler basically running the ball, I feel a lot safer with Austin Eckler back there than I do with just Josh Allen by himself. And I know Bills fans would freak out hearing me say that, but it's one guy. Josh Allen's one guy. Whereas who else is going to sit there and get those carries that you're going to rely on to win that game through your running game?
Well, it's kind of funny how all those teams almost have something in common. Besides the Tennessee Titans, you have elite quarterbacks. That's why I think the AFC is so strange. You have these great quarterbacks with running backs that aren't very good, except, Derrick Henry's good, but the quarterback's not good. It's one or the other. And then in the NFC, you have better teams. I think overall teams. That's why it's so interesting with the Chargers. I disagree with you about the Dolphins. I would like to play the Dolphins again. I think we exposed the Dolphins by how we played last game. The Ravens, like I said, are a team I'd want to play, even though they have a pretty good running game. They have nobody to throw the ball to besides Mark Andrews. And then we have Derwin James to shut him down. The Cincinnati Bengals is the last team in the AFC I want to play. Then it would be the Kansas City Chiefs, and then it would be the Buffalo Bills. I'm really confident. Maybe I'm crazy about the Chargers heading into these other stadiums because, like you said, the Chargers do not have a home field advantage. I'm a Charger fan. I love the Chargers. We don't have a home field advantage. It doesn't exist, especially in the playoffs. You want to play the Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, doesn't matter what team, to come to SoFi, they're going to kill our stadium. They're going to bring everybody and their mom to LA to make it loud against the Chargers. I don't mind going on the road. When the Chargers went to Cincinnati a few years ago and beat the Bengals, I thought that was almost a good thing to get them out of California and play somewhere else.
And it's like kind of defeating, right, to have a home game and you walk out there and you're like, wait, why is half the stadium in orange? Why is half the stadium decked down Bengals? Why is half the stadium, and why is Bills Mafia here? Like, having that, I think, is a little bit more defeating. So I do agree. The Chargers on the road, perfect. Like, couldn't be a more perfect team, I think, suited for that route. It's like Eli Manning on the road in the playoffs. Like, somehow that guy, that just kicks in another gear. But to be honest, I kind of agree with you, Dave. I don't want the Dolphins again at all. I don't want the Dolphins. I think the script is out how you beat them. I think Waddle is not 100%, or if you're physical with him at the line, he kind of gives up. If he's not 100%, then I think that's kind of the answer to solving Waddle. Hill's obviously not 100% right now, but to face the Dolphins again, I'm okay. Are we going to have those same red zone issues? Like, I don't want to have the Dolphins again. I want to try to beat that good of a team again. So I would most likely would like to stay away from them. Plus, like, think about this, guys. How much of a headache it would be if Tua and Dolphins beat the Chargers like in the playoffs. I would personally light my laptop on fire because that day on social media would be a brutal day, and just everything like, oh, Tua wins a big game and everything like that. Like, let's just shut our mouths. But everywhere else, yeah, like I'm for. I think Cincy, I wouldn't want to play them, but I don't have a fear of going at Cincy and playing in Cincy. I have more fear of just Burrow and clutch time.
Yeah.
Just that part of it. And I don't have a fear of Zach Taylor, really. I have more confidence in kind of Zach Taylor going against himself than him having the strategic plan that Andy Reid would have and to beat us. But I don't know.
You know what? The thing with Miami is, and I'm sure they've already figured this out, although I thought they'd figure it out against the 49ers. After the Niner game, going to the Charger game, looking at game film, I went back and I watched Sunday's game a second time, and I was trying to figure out, what happened to Tua and what did the Chargers do defensively? And we all know how the Chargers went more of a zone defense and tried to take things away from Tua, take away some of the weapons. Tua had a horrible game. I mean, straight out. It wasn't just that the Chargers defense was that great. His reads were really bad. When I went back and I was trying to fast forward and stop and look to see what else was open when it looks like he was trying to force passes in where they weren't available, there are a lot of guys underneath that he didn't take advantage of. It almost looked like he fell in love with Tyreek Hill, and they took away Waddle, they took away Tyreek Hill, and they're like, someone else has to beat us. It's kind of like the way that Bill Belichick always says, we're going to take away what you do best. And that's what the Chargers kind of did against the Dolphins. But there were options there for Tua to hit open targets. He just didn't do it. He overall really did play a terrible game. And the Chargers, I understand you want to give him a little bit of credit, but he played a terrible, terrible game. He just missed opportunity after opportunity. It's one reason why I wouldn't want to face Miami again. I don't think it happens a second time. And even that score, I don't think was indicative as far as how bad we thought the Chargers knocked off the Dolphins. The score was still a little too close. But overall, Miami just has so many weapons that it just kind of scares me a little bit. That's one reason I just wouldn't want to face the Dolphins again, especially that game would be in Miami.
Yeah, I mean, I get where you guys are coming from. I just don't want to play Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. I just think they're all superior quarterbacks to Tua. It's weird when you look at these teams that are left in the AFC, how they kind of all own each other. For example, the Bengals own the Chiefs own the Chargers, the Bills kind of own everybody besides the Chiefs. It's weird how that kind of breaks down. The team that the Chargers don't want to play is the Chiefs. You're looking at their record, but if you're looking from the actual team, I don't want to play in Buffalo. I mean, we made fun of it earlier when we said, you don't want to play in the cold if you're from California. I really don't want the Chargers to go to Buffalo if we're going to be honest here. That just doesn't sit well with the Chargers and what they have. And then the Bengals as well, it's going to be cold. Going down to Miami, to me, I think is kind of like a luxury almost. Like, it's going to be not freezing. We'll be more in our comfort zone. But if the Chargers make it to the playoffs, I'll be happy in general because like we said, we're outside the bubble. But the Patriots are a shadow of what the Chargers are. So if the football gods shine down upon us, the Chargers should be in the playoffs. Yeah,
shout out to Patriots for scoring one touchdown last night and giving up one touchdown. I can't get over that. I think I said that to myself like 5 times today, at least to my roommate. I was like, the Patriots scored one touchdown last night.
Dude, that's what the Patriots do. Yeah. Sorry, dude. That's the history of the New England Patriots. Stuff like that happens, man, where the quarterback gets hurt and you score one touchdown. When Tom Brady did that his whole career. I'm sorry, dude, cut you off. That stuff pisses me off.
No.
The Patriots always catch breaks, bro. They always are catching breaks.
Always catch breaks. I mean, hey, you're talking to the kid that grew up in Indiana. Like, you know how many times I had to sit in school and just hear even teachers cuss up a storm of guy like, how can we not beat the Patriots? Like, it is a constant thing of somehow Bill will find a way. But I don't think this team's that talented at all. Probably one of Bill's least talented teams to even make a playoff run. I'm with you on one thing, and you said it, and I'm just going to take a big hint to a bet that I'm going to throw so much money on. But I'm so excited to see like the Dolphins and Buffalo this weekend after playing in LA and San Francisco. I bet that's fun, staying in LA or California for a whole week. And then you go to the complete other side of the country and weather that just I don't know, it's dark at 4. And it's cold, depressing. You feel like vampires are gonna come out and like werewolves because it's so late, dark and cold, and it sucks. But that's a game that if you want a little juice on, just keep an eye out for it.
You know what I find interesting also about the NFL this year is, all the talk that New York hasn't done anything in sports for the longest time. And everybody's talking about the Jets and the Giants. And look at the Jets and Giants. And man, they're the talk of the NFL. And the Jets and Giants right now are fizzling out. It's started off great, completely fizzled out. And then they're goofing on the LA teams, going the Rams and Chargers stink. And the Rams are a shadow of what they were when they won the Super Bowl. And the Chargers are just an average team. All of a sudden, when you look at the storylines are on the West Coast. I mean, 100% they're on the West Coast with the Niners, of course. But look, the Chargers, after what they did on Sunday night against the Dolphins, and the Rams all of a sudden with Baker Mayfield playing against the Green Bay Packers coming up on Monday, that's going to be a highly viewed game. People are going to want to watch that game. And so I love the East Coast, West Coast thing all the time. But I find it fascinating that the Giants and Jets were cheap speed and they're out of gas, where all of a sudden, even though the Rams stink, there's a storyline there with the Rams and a definitely postseason storyline there with the Chargers.
I'm excited, man. The NFL is absolutely
Me
the
too.
best. You cannot write this stuff up better. It's the best reality show on TV.
Amazing. Beats Jersey Shore. Also, the fall of New York is beautiful. It's fall of the Jets, fall of the Giants. God bless them. Great coaches. But, yeah, you guys really thought that Daniel Jones and Zach Wilson / Joe Flacco / Mike White would take you anywhere. It's pretty laughable. Sauce Gardner's good, fellas, but he's not that good. So,
all right. So we're going to be back on Thursday. We're going to make our picks again, and basically we'll have a rundown of how we did on our picks. It's
the rundown's here. The rundown's here.
Oh, no. I was trying to buy us a little bit of time. All right, we can do it right now if you want. So just to recap, I made my picks. Mario made his picks, and Josh just said opposite of everything Dave just said. 100% blanket statement, opposite of me. And I bounced when I made my picks this week. I was pretty secure in my picks that I was pretty smart. How'd I do, Mario?
You went 3-9.
3-9, and I tried 3-9. That means Josh went 9-3.
Yeah.
Oh my
Why did
God.
you change? Why did you change? Cardinals +2. You said Pats. You literally said Pats and you changed.
Because no one told me Kyler Murray was going to tear his ACL on the first series of the game. I missed that. Why didn't you guys
you didn't get the memo?
Happen?
Yeah, you didn't get the memo on that one?
That was there are two games on the sheet that didn't make any sense at all to me. And just like, what's Vegas doing? One was the Lions being favored over the Vikings. Like, what the hell's going on? And the second one was the Patriots being favored over the Cardinals in Arizona. Didn't make any sense to me. Damn it. I can't believe Josh went 9-3. You didn't even do anything. You didn't do anything. You just said opposite of Dave. Like, dude, if you had a gambling show and you were hit 9 out of 3 every week, you'd be the most popular guy in the country.
Dude, guess what I'm doing this next week?
Dude, I'm so pissed off. I can't tell you. What?
What?
You going the same move?
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Damn it.
I think everyone out there should go the same move.
Mario, how did you do?
I didn't do great. I went 5-7.
Dude.
Barely kissing. It's close to 50%, but
you got to pay the VIG. You lost a lot. It's worse than you think.
I mean, it was.
What was the one that upset you the most? What I got to know what I got right. What did I get right?
You got Texans +17.5.
Yeah, I'm proud of that.
That's crazy.
Eagles and Bengals.
Wait, what? Oh, I mean that they both covered.
They all covered. So okay. Eagles was -7, Bengals was -5.5, Texans was +17.5, and you got those 3 right.
Okay.
And also, dude, I'm so freaking sick and tired of the Dallas Cowboys and all that bull crap. I'm so tired. Every time I freaking bet on them, then Jerry Jones just closes his eyes, takes his little cappuccino machine, and goes flirts party with something else. And Mike McCarthy has too many donuts and sucks.
They haven't done anything in 27 years.
They signed your boy Mario T.Y. Hilton. You see that?
I did. He's actually a legend. Love T.Y. Hilton. I've met him in Benihana like 4 times when I was growing up. Yeah. Everyone's dressed up in Benihana. It was the funniest thing ever. So I was in middle school, dressed up. It was around Christmas time. Benihana's, and there's like this big group of like 50 people that comes in. And then the only guy in Colts shorts and like a cut up Colts sweatshirt, and it's T.Y. Hilton. Walks in, and I walk out of the bathroom like, oh my God, it's T.Y. Hilton. And he turns around, looks at me, and goes, "What's up, man? Go Colts." And I was like, I was just starstruck. I was like, oh my God. And I looked at my brother. I was like, dude, that's T.Y. Hilton. And he goes, that guy is the richest man in here, and he's dressed like he's the poorest.
Okay. Now you brought up T.Y. Hilton. 2 things. That means Odell Beckham Jr. is not going to the Cowboys, right? That was the rumor. So that's over. Correct. The other thing, T.Y. Hilton, just from an outside guy looking at the Colts. You tell me, Mario, if we're right or wrong. I'll speak for myself. T.Y. Hilton was always treated as a number 1 receiver by the Colts. But from the outside, we're like, he's a number 3, but the Colts don't know he's a number 3. Right on that? Okay.
Yeah, in his prime years, like his connection with Luck was actually unbelievable. Like Luck could just bomb it, and somehow T.Y. was there. But as soon as Luck left, the wheels just kind of came off for him. He's honestly, but like in my generation, the 3 most loved guys in Indianapolis are Peyton Manning, T.Y. Hilton, and Lance Stevenson. And I am not kidding you when it's in that order. Very random. I swear
what are you talking about?
No,
I lost that bet. Lance Stevenson?
I swear to you. Swear on my life. Swear on my life.
Dude,
I was at his first game back.
Paul George? They hate Paul George because he left, right?
Hate Paul George. Hate Victor
Miller?
Oladipo.
Yeah, Reggie Miller?
I'm not counting him in my lifetime. Okay.
So White Freedom? Reggie Wayne?
Franny's up there. Wayne's probably up there more than Franny. But dude, T.Y. is class act. Like an unbelievable person.
Not Marvin
Lost
Harrison.
that bet.
Well, Marvin Harrison kind of brought a gun in the locker room, so
I heard about that.
Yeah.
Is that bad?
Yeah.
Gilbert Arenas like, no. What the hell?
Javaris Crittenden.
Yeah. I was staying away from the old Marvin Harrison thing because from the outside, being 2,000 miles away, everyone here is like, what in the hell is Marvin Harrison doing? And how come people aren't prosecuting this guy the way he should be? But everyone, let's stay quiet because you never know if he has another gun. So we'll just stay quiet.
Yeah.
Holy cow. All right.
His son's the truth.
No, his son's so good. I promise you, the loudest I've ever heard Banker's Life, now it's Gainbridge. I've been there in playoff games, the Heat days, battles against the Heat. Besides that time, the loudest I've ever heard that stadium was last year when Lance Stevenson came back on the floor. I swear on my life, it was the loudest. And he hit, I think he started the game off like 4 for 4 from 3. And I'm not kidding you. I thought it was a playoff. You thought Michael Jordan came home to Chicago and like was putting on one last time, and they're doing it in 6-6.
Saddest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
I'm just saying. I mean, Lance loves this city, and I mean, he's probably the only Pacer in the past like decade that's stuck with him. All of them just dip. So, but yeah, Lance. Ask anyone from Indy besides me.
He's a goofball.
Lance Stevenson.
He's a goofball.
What?
He's a goofball.
He's my freaking goofball. So you watch him.
That's the craziest thing ever. I can't believe it.
Oh yeah.
Damn. Oh my goodness. Wow. Did not see that coming. All right. Well, we're back on Thursday. We'll make our picks again. Hopefully I'll do a little bit better. We'll also break down more of what's going to happen in the Titans and what the Chargers need to do to pull out another win. As I said, they're going to win 5 straight games going into the postseason. For Josh Palais, Mario Heron, I'm Dave Palais. We'll talk to you next time on the Bolt City podcast, courtesy of Odyssey.